We use humor as a love language to say things that we couldn't or wouldn't say directly. Humor is a love language that I learned from my dad. His only way he could express himself at all was through humor. He grew up in the Depression. His mom she worked in a sweatshop in Philadelphia. She was widowed with 3 kids in the Depression. She couldn't afford to raise 3 kids, so my dad and his older brother ended up in a school for fatherless boys. She had to give them up. His senior year of high school, Pearl Harbor was bombed, and he joined the Navy, and he stayed in the Navy through Korea, and then some. By the way, don't do the math. He married late, and I'm the baby of the family. But I know he had emotions. No one ever taught him how to show them. So humor was his love language. And there are a lot of stories that I could tell about him, but the one I think that illustrates it best is this one. And I'll end on this. So the last 10 years of their lives, my wife and I took care of my parents. They wanted to be independent, but my mom's memory wasn't great. My dad he was in pretty good shape. Mentally, he was sharp as a tack. They wanted to be independent, so we got them an apartment down the street from us. And they were able to be independent, with my wife and I running back and forth 17 times a day. Yeah, a few knowing looks there. By the way, my friend has a theory that the word daughter should be a verb, as in to daughter. Yeah, the women in the room are laughing. So we had them set up in that situation, but it was a house of cards. We knew that something was going to happen, and of course, eventually something did, and one morning I got the call, Daddy fell. And my dad had fallen in the bathroom and hit his head on the tub. And I will tell you now that this story has a happy ending. I'm reminding myself as much as I'm telling you. But it wasn't great. He was unresponsive in the ambulance. He was 94 years old at that point. We get to the hospital, back at Cedars, get to the hospital, and they determined that he probably had a stroke, and that was why he went down. Not great. But then the initial medical team kind of pulls back, and I'm standing there next to his gurney, and his eyes opened, and he looked at me. And I could just tell he was in there. He was in there. And he was annoyed, because he could see that I was upset, and to him, that was intolerable. And his eyes were open, so I went and I got the nurse, and she came in and she said, Sir, can you tell me your name? Can you tell me your name? And my dad looked at me, tear-stained face, and he looked at the nurse, and he said, Donald Trump. And I laughed. I mean, the nurse thought, oh, that's so sorry. No, he's fine. He's fine. He's just a smartass. But I knew exactly what he was saying to me. He thought he'd let me down, and he was saying, I'm sorry. Humor is a love language.